Good day and welcome to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas, greeting you on this amazing day. And it's amazing because you are amazing. As we begin our conversations, we want to think about those who are impacted around the globe by natural disasters. One of the things we try to do at the Power Up is always give space to our brothers and sisters around the globe because we're all one human race. So today we want to take the opportunity to make sure that we all become better, that while our hearts are extended to those, we prepare at home. So let's discuss preparing for natural disasters. Natural disasters are oftentimes not welcome. Certainly, no disaster is, but there's just a way that the earth, climate change, Mother Nature for some, has a way of shifting automatically, sometimes unscheduled, unplanned. And what we want to do is create a space to discuss how we can prepare for those unplanned moments. Preparing for a natural disaster will help safety and preservation. There are many who are not just digging through rubble to try to find their belongings, but there are some who also experience loss and are burying loved ones. Well, in spite of the loss of personal effects and even documentation and human perspective, what have you done to be prepared in case a disaster hits your home, your town, your family, that you have to exist in for a little while before help can get to you? There are some basic tips and tools you can put in place. We think about the recent pandemic that hit the entire globe. How many of us weren't prepared because who knew about this airborne disease? However, history has taught that polio, as with the flu, another airborne disease, can put you in a place where there are things you can do to stay safe and healthy in the midst of it all. Many die regularly from the flu virus. Fluenza is not something that many folks plan for. You can be in the presence of someone who might not even know they have it. And simply because you're holding a conversation, contract it by breathing it in, just as COVID-19. What we want to do is share information so that you're equipped and educated to be better in any circumstance you might face. I remember in elementary school, we used to often have a fire drill where the school would just everybody, the alarms would go off and all the teachers would give instruction on just in case there's a fire, where the exit route is and where we need to meet up. Many teachers had classes of 20 students of all ages, so the little bitty babies too needed to have a exit strategy and practice it so that we were prepared as if the disaster or catastrophe happened. Now, certainly we don't wish for disaster. Who would? We want to go about our life being happy, healthy, and whole. But can I charge you with the thought that preparation can often help with peace of mind? We have life insurance for just in case, or for when our transition happens, so that we're not slammed with finances. We're not slammed with issues and not having burial expenses. So we pay for that insurance, understanding the possibility. We have car insurance. Many of us who drive know that by law, you can't get a driver's license in most states unless your car is covered. That way, if there's a collision, even just a fender bender, you are protected to have not just your car repaired, but should any personal injury take place, insurance helps in that moment. So the state has planned to make sure for the just in case. With life insurance, you plan for the just in case. Many of us have 529 plans where we plan for our children to go to college. We put away for that if they decide to achieve higher education. We've got that nest egg that doesn't impact us. Planning and preparation can help with peace of mind. It matters a lot, family, when you go into institutes or in places of time in your life. Let me give you an example. When you get married, you often have a plan. You often decide this is where we're going to live. We're packing up two separate locations, going to move into one home. This is what we're going to do. And it's okay, because as long as you put that time into making sure that goals are similar, you plan for success. So back to how you can plan for natural disasters. There are some easy tips that we want to share today on the Power Up. First, get informed. Be part of your local emergency response network. Yeah. Be part of how you can get immediate alerts on your cell phone when something's popping off in your area. There are many ways you can stay connected to local weather services so that you know if there's an unexpected tornado or weather headed your way that you need to now go to a different part of the house, or you need to make sure you grab that emergency kit so that you're prepared. Consider tapping into the local resources that you have that can help you in those times of preparation. As you make your plan, make sure that you consider those exit routes, those places to meet up. I have teenagers that are around me all the time. My grandbaby spend a lot of time with me, and we have an emergency location. If anything happens and we lose contact, we will meet up at this location. Gives me peace of mind that I'm not searching all over looking for them, that they already know where grandma's going to go to. Yeah. 9/11 shined a great light on the need for preparation, for having just those things in place that can help us. Consider developing and maintaining a plan. Also consider getting your supply kit together. Back in 1999, I remember when everyone was talking about the end of the world because we were coming to the year 2000. We were going to party like it's 1999, somebody. I just showed my age. But what they encouraged everybody to do was store a supply kit of water, granola bars, blankets, flashlights, batteries, those things that you might need if you have to hunker down for a while. Family, it's well into the year 20 and 20 plus. And what you'll find is that same emergency kit can help in many crisis moments. How often do you plan just in case you get that flat tire? Certainly isn't something we ever want to experience. I promise you. I know how to change one, but I'd really be okay if I never have to. However, you have your jack in the car. You have your blanket in the car in case it's cold. You have the emergency food, snacks stashed away. You have the things that will help you just in case. Family, we wanted to take this moment just to remind you, your plan can give you peace. Maintaining and updating your plan and sharing it with everyone in your household, including your ICE, that in case of emergency person, can help make sure that everybody is in the same mode when panic happens, when we have to flight or fight, when something pops off or occurs that you have to immediately respond to. Take time, develop, maintain, update, educate folks on your plan, and then put your kit together. just in case in the car something happens, just in case I'm on the train, I have my backpack with a few little things, just in case because I catch the subway to work. Think bigger into the little moments and how you can be better. Here on the Power Up, that's our focus. We hope that this has helped to equip and educate you and remind you how important preparation is key. So as we go into our next segment, we're going to continue to talk about how you can plan to be the better you. So stay tuned because there's more after this.
Hey, it's your girl A Love. Make sure you follow me and Pastor PG, LaShonda Robinson, on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Girl Let's Talk. And let me tell you, it's not your typical church conversation. Make sure you join us on the WIN Network.
Hey, it's Coach Piangel Jones from the Empowered Morning Show, and I'm reminding you to watch All Things Well, 4 Thursdays, right here on the WIN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up, where we're here to help bring perspective and refocus, re-energize your purpose so that you make a difference where you are. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas, delighted to be with you today. We want to take a moment to now discuss what many individuals have been dealing with, at least across America. In the fact that the pandemic caused many agencies to be impacted, many career shifts. You started in one area and that stopped. You had to find a way to quickly get some money so that you could eat and pay the bills, right? The pandemic caused us to look at our entire employment and career process a little differently. We want to talk and help today and discuss career readiness. We want to share some tips with you, understanding how many have been impacted. Did you know that the total employment figures and unemployment rate in the United States between 1980 and 1924, where we're future focused, has totally changed? We went from working on assembly lines during World War II. We went from having a big push to there being a lot of blue collar workers to now there's an entire Silicon Valley tech industry that exists. There are folks who are doing what they can to survive on some places. And then there's other spots where individuals are making their dreams come true. And in 2022, it was estimated that over 158 million Americans were in some form of employment, while 3.64% of the workforce was unemployed. So we want to take this opportunity to help folks who might be addressing different styles of change. Tami, what do I do? I understand the statistics are high, but I want to get to a point where I am just better. Okay, listen, here at the Power Up, our hope is to educate you and empower you to remember that first, where you are is not a permanent situation. If you will, think about it this way. A movie has many frames. You don't just get to the climax and that's the end. There's more after each scene. When I grew up, there was a Polaroid camera, y'all. It took a picture, you had to shake it and wait for it to develop. But what it gave me was just like any other photograph, a screenshot. It gave me an instant moment, something that I can look back on as a memory. What you have in front of you is greater than where you are right now. So as you consider how to move forward, as you consider that shifting, repositioning is something that's transitional. It's always going to happen. You're not where you were when you were 2 years old. You're not where you were when you first learned how to drive, bought your first car, maybe got your first job. There are things in life that you continue to go beyond and hopefully create brand new first. Go ahead and get your first passport. Why not? Go ahead and travel to those first cities you always dreamed of going. Go ahead and enjoy life, understanding that your job is meant to help sustain the lifestyle that you create for you. And here's another thought. Your job is not always meant to be where you're going to stay forever. Okay? Let's make that understood. Excuse me. Your job is meant to help supply you with what you need in this moment. That's why there are individuals who work their job and build businesses. There are individuals who continue to find things to do that are external while they clock in that 9 to 5. But let's say you're someone who just got a pink slip. It's a reality. Let's say that you're one of the folks where the boss just gave a big announcement. Team, I'm selling the company. I found someone else who's a better investor. I just don't have the capital anymore. And let's say you've even found someone that you work for that decided that, yeah, they're not going to use your whole division. They're going to keep the company, but lay off a whole lot of folks. It's happened. The media has showed how some of the huge mainstream organizations are now doing massive layoffs. This is what we want you to know today. Readiness is preparation. And where you are in your employment, even if you're currently employed, you should always stay ready for change and for improvement. So let's start with this first. Let's talk about that wonderful word resume. When you apply for something new, the folks don't know you, right? Resumes are meant to be a hard copy version of you. When I hire, oftentimes I get 300 resumes at once for one position, which means I'm plowing through them with what I see, giving each of them a 2-minute cursory review. So I'm going to share some human capital tips really quickly, hoping this helps someone to really think bigger versus operating in fear. Your resume should speak out loud to the amazingness about you. Here's one tip to consider. Numbers are everything. Quantity and quality speak volumes when an employer is doing cursory reviews. Find a way to put the amazing stuff you've touched at the top so we see it first and add quantitative value. Tammy, what are you talking about? I'm the girl for you. Here's a tip for my receptionist. Do you just put that I'm a receptionist? Or have you added the type of switchboard, the number of lines, the people you support? Are you a support through a massive telephone system with 300 employees and 4 off-site locations that's powered by 5G network where you receive an average of 600 calls a day? Come on, numbers speak everything. Where you handle not just the calls, but as reception, I'm responsible for front office presence. What does that mean? That means that I establish the highest quality of customer service where I greet more than 100 individuals a day. I'm the first point of contact and assist them to go further. The words that you say are what we see that pop off that paper. So consider this. If I'm not giving you any sense today, there are many career coaches that are out there available for you. Consider tapping into the expertise around you. There are some churches that have job readiness centers. There are local governments that have job readiness centers and job availability sites. So if you're doing all of this at home on your laptop, consider Google to find out what readiness center, career development, those keywords is available in your area. It even works if you have to relocate. I had to move from one city to another back home to take care of mama. Well, that meant that the first thing you start doing is looking for a new place to live. Well, that's Google. If you're 10 hours away, you're not able to go back and forth as much as you like. Learn to use this information age to your advantage. That includes with your resume. Let me also help folks because there's a lot of opportunities now, a lot of job sites out there where that hard copy resume is what you'll submit through that website. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's search engines such as ZipRecruiters and LinkedIn and those type of places, right? Monster.com. Come on, there's many, many, many of them. I'm not here to promote just one. I do, however, want to caution you deciding you're going to build a resume in 20. That's a lot of job searching and job information that you might not be able to stay on top of. Because as jobs become available, they're oftentimes sensitive. What that means is it's posted and you have 2 weeks to respond. Well, if you have a resume built into a search engine, 3, 4 different ones, how often are you realistically able to check and respond and reply and see new jobs posted? What we recommend is that you take time, figure out the ones, the search engines that are best for you, that you want to invest your time into. Also, look for the ones that are in the network type of job you're interested in. If you're looking to go into the medical field, there are very specific designed ways to get into the medical field. Research and find out how to tap into the network, the information, and then the career opportunities. Even if you start with just going on a hiring site at a hospital, come on, it's about starting. If you're in the information age or technology savvy, there are search engines, websites, job readiness availability locations just for you. There are individuals constantly looking for IT professionals, right? So consider putting your energy into what works for you, family. One more for you. Put on that resume your volunteer service. Do you coordinate Girl Scout troops? Come on, man. That's information that shows your ability for leadership. It shows your coordination skills. You might have a troop that's taking trips overseas. Those are things, those are words, that's information that can help to show the amazing you that we get a quick 2 minutes to see. You can give us the rest once we schedule that interview, get you in the house, get an opportunity to talk to you for 30 minutes. That's when you can show up and show out. But for the tips today, consider how you add all the relevant information into that paper document, into building that readiness job search resume. If you're looking for federal government work, usajobs.gov is one of the key search engines that constantly post just federal jobs. And I got news for you. We're not just talking about working at the White House or working in Congress or Capitol Hill. There are government jobs in the medical field. There are government jobs that are cutting grass. They're contractors, giving tours at the museums. Come on, federally, we fund all of those who are our forest park rangers. So think bigger into the type of job that will make you happy. The one you love to go to work so much that it's not work because you just love doing it. Consider taking the shift of that pink slip and saying, okay, God, you must have something better for me. Let's see what it's about. And while you're putting your feet one step in front of the other, get connected to all these different networks, whether it's Facebook, social media. Be loud about the fact that you're looking for a job to everybody you know. Come on, sometimes people are hiring and they're like, oh my gosh, I was just looking for somebody with that skill. Come on, you are your best advocate. And you know what? A lot of times that's what people are looking for. The person who will represent them best in meetings, in presentations, in different type of scenarios. So the amazing you, we need more than ever. Don't get frustrated. Please don't give in to fear. It's just a shift. It's just a transition in life. And the best is still yet to come. We hope this career readiness segment helped today to educate and empower you. As we go into our next break, we're going to continue with more tips because we want to be elevated to walk in our success. So hold tight. There's more after this.
Marshall Weeks here with you on Financial Friday. Are you insured? I bet some of you didn't know God is in the insurance business. He has the John 3:16 policy that everyone qualifies for, especially for those of us who have pre-existing conditions. You don't even have to go into the office. He makes house calls. Let me tell you the terms of the plan. I memorized it because it's the easiest insurance policy you'll ever read. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. So whoever believes in his son Jesus, that's the signature that automatically covers a verbal binding contract. No waiting period. You don't even have to get blood work because Jesus did it already. And his blood is so good, the policy goes into effect immediately, pays the policy in full. Can you believe it? So now we know how easy it is to insure our spirit. God's taking care of all the heavenly arrangements. But what about our earthly arrangements, our assets? Are we covered? Now, if God sent Jesus, his own and only son, to the cross for our benefit, so we would not only be covered in heaven, but on this earth, because the blood works here too, what are we leaving to our own families? God made sure we would be supplied with and reminded of his John 3:16 policy almost everywhere we go. Bumper stickers, computer screensavers, Bibles in hotels, billboards, Wednesday service, Sunday service, online service, afternoon program, aunties, grandma, uncles, ushers, and ushers. They've been talking about that John 3:16 policy since we were little kids. So does your family know what your policy reads? And where is it? Do they know what to do? Is it the right type of insurance? Because God didn't give us any old insurance policy. It's not bootleg. So let's make sure we follow God's lead and take care of our earthly exit and our family like he's done for us. You've been empowered because you should prosper.
Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on Empowered Mornings. We'd like to invite you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., uniquely and gorgeous, to keep your mind locked and loaded on WIN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up, where we push you to be the best you possible. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas, and I'm delighted to be with you today as we walk into how we can remain healthy, happy, and whole. On this health front, we want to discuss some tips that will keep us not just moving, but living the highest quality of life possible. Here's the thing. Doesn't help to be super duper happy, buff, all of that, if that's not something that will help you be happy, right? We've got to get to a point where we don't look at everybody else and think that we're less than, that because they have it, I've got to have it. That keeping up with the Joneses. Because I've got news for you. I have a six-pack too. It's just under a little bit of stuff, so I'm working to try to. So in this health front, we want to remind you how gorgeous, how amazing, how strong, how fabulous, yes, how awesome you are. Brothers and sisters, remember this one thing. You aren't created accidentally. You are here on purpose, built the way you are from the lineage that you come from. That's the reason there's light skin, there's dark skin. That's the reason that we have global, continental colors and cultures. That's the reason. You're so unique. But what we need you to do is make sure that you take care of the unique, amazing you. There's a few things that requires. That requires, number one, that you consider what you are consuming that might be unhealthy versus how much you're consuming that is healthy. Let me help somebody. My grandbabies love ice cream, and honestly, so does their grandma. But there's a difference in deciding I'm going to eat that gallon of ice cream all in one sitting, topped with the nuts and whipped cream. And ooh, okay, stop talking, Tam. It's horrible, right? Because we have that sweet tooth or that desire. It's what we like. What I want you to consider is how you balance out your indulgence. What do you take into consideration once you've had that steak on Monday? Now, for my steak and potatoes, folks, I feel you, I hear you. I'm not saying don't enjoy the sirloin. What I want you to remember is that your body can only handle so much meat. Did you ever find it interesting that restaurants start by serving salad? You ever noticed how they start with water on the table? How helpful that might be to your digestive tract to put the greens in first, the plants, the things from the ground, what the earth is giving you for nutrition. The nutrients in vegetables matter. Now, here's the thing, there's some that can help so much when you're in a recovery state, when you've just had surgery, maybe even if you're dealing with a diagnosis or a disease. That's why taking time to Google, to research, to find out what can help you in those moments can only better you. So I want you to consider just a few things. Consider how much salt and sugar you consume. Here's the reason why. Your body, your heart can only take so much pressure. You guys heard of high blood pressure. Yeah, it's a real thing. There are individuals who have heart attacks. You have a heart attack. It means that your heart can't pump at the same rhythm that it's supposed to on a regular, normal rate. Okay? You can Google all this. I love being part and surrounded by those in the medical industry because you learn enough where it makes you at least become aware before you consume. Are you one of those Snickers folks? You got that whole big bag of M&Ms sitting right there on your desk. I'm not going to tell you how I know. I just want you to consider how you're going to offset that. Have you added smoothies to let your digestion go? To let things move through your intestine? To let your stomach not be so full that you're making noises when you stand up? that you're gassy and dealing with reflux. Because when you're super gassy and dealing with a lot of reflux, family, know that that's abnormal. Anything that's not normal, you want to discuss with your healthcare provider. Don't just assume, that's just me. Consider how that can impact you as you age. Another thing you want to consider is reading labels for what you consume. You'll know if it's high in sugar or high in salt because there's a label that gives you the specifics of your calories. Your caloric intake is what stores in those places that help give the roles that we're trying to lose. Come on, y'all. This is real talk here. We all want to be better. So if you're taking time to consume a lot now and you're in your 30s, and then you get to your 50s where you're starting to move a little slower, you can't consume the same. And then you get into your 60s and 70s where your teeth are different, your throat is different, body, nature starts to gravity take over. And then you're one of the amazing senior saints where you're out here rocking it, wisdom personified. But even life changes in your elderly years. You don't eat the same as you did when you were younger. So, how can you be proactive with your health to help make sure that in the next 30 years, you have an amazing quality of life? Family, I saw on the news an 85-year-old lady who ran a 100-yard dash. A different 85-year-old lady opened a gym. She didn't start working out until she was 70. At 70, she walked into the local gym, y'all, and decided she wanted to get with a personal trainer. You know why? Because it's never too late to be a better you. There was a 100-year-old man just the other day who also ran a dash at the Penn Relays. Now, I'm not trying to say we're all built and able to do that. If you are not that individual where being in the gym and doing 100-yard dashes is your thing, what is your thing? Remember this. If you're saying no to something, what are you saying yes to? What could you start saying yes to? Well, Tammy, I don't really do salads, but maybe I could have a salad Wednesday. Something small, something easy. Nobody's saying you can't put the eggs on your salad. Nobody said you can't put chicken on your salad. We're just saying that instead of just focusing on the carbs and the stuff that's heavy, you're giving your body an opportunity for light. And whatever will help this heart pump is what you want to do. Blood pressure, high pressure, can be the result of too much sugar, which carbohydrates can turn into that bread, that rice, those potatoes, and the sugar you put in your regular coffee, tea, or how about those Cokes, the cans? Read how much sugar's in them. Again, not telling you not to drink it, just want you educated and wiser so that you won't start spreading to the point where you can't move, or you won't get heavy in certain places to the point where it hurts your lungs to breathe, to the point where every time you stand up, you're going, ugh. Your knees stay swollen. Those ankles stay hurt. And even to my folks who deal with migraines, you deal with the fact that you already have allergy season, the elements coming. Some of you already deal with, I'm feeling when the weather's changing in your bones. So how about finding ways to make those knees that are already hurting get better over time? Talk to your healthcare professional. See a nutritionist or anyone that can help give you insight on what you consume and how it can make you better. Family, you have the power to make a difference. Now, I want you to notice that I didn't discuss the working out and the staying active. That is truly key because if you eat it, you have to burn it off. One of the other things to think about with that gallon of ice cream, with that 20-ounce porterhouse. When you eat it, it doesn't all just go right out. It stores somewhere. How can you help your body store the vitamins that you need? The vitamin A, B, C, D, all of the nutrients that's in the food. One other thing to consider, are you taking your multivitamin every day? See, on the health front, our focus is to remind you that the quality of life is not just about right now. It's wonderful if you partying and having a good time and have no aches or pains. That's awesome. Rock on, hun. But where will you be in 20 years? In 40 years? So take this opportunity to invest in the future you so that you can still rock out in 40 years. So you're the senior on the dance floor. Come on, somebody. So you're the one that's still driving, still taking care of your eyes, making sure you're wearing those shades when you go outside so you're UV protected, right? Making sure you're wearing your lotion, your sunscreen, because the sun does wear on your body too. So whatever you need to do to be the better you is what we want to challenge you with today. Consider how much you intake. Consider what you intake. Consider even how often you intake. Do you really do that apple a day? Do you take fruit in place of full meals? How about this? Are you a breakfast person that can do pancakes, eggs, sausage, all of it, and then have a lighter dinner so that you can rest better at night? So you're not tossing and turning because your stomach is upset. Your side is hurting. There's food moving through your indigestive tract, your digestive system, and it's causing you pain. Remember, what you do will help you now and in the future. Family, we hope that these tips have been really helpful. Sugar, salt make a difference to your heart. What you consume makes a difference to what's stored that you have to carry. What you do on a regular basis, movement, those other things that can help you, like meditation, make a difference in how you continue to be a wonderful you. And speaking with and seeking professional care in a preventive way can help you not just be at the ER when all the time. Family, hopefully these tips have enlightened and educated you to be all you need to be, to notice those labels, to notice what you're drinking, all so that you can not only rock right now, but show the world what it's like to live out loud and on purpose. As we move forward into our wrap up, there's more to come, so stay tuned.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry Y. Hicks of the Amazing Fab Five, and I am here to tell you to tune into the Empowered Morning Show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the WIN Network.
Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on Empowered Mornings. We'd like to invite you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., uniquely and gorgeous, to keep your mind locked and loaded on WIN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. We're so glad you're joining us today. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas, excited to be with you and to have walked through this show, where we began by reminding you the need to prepare for natural disasters. We want to make sure that you have a plan, that you have an emergency contact person, that your family knows the location, the escape route, and that you're prepared even in the car and on the road. Consider tapping into resources at the American Red Cross. If you're aware of disasters in your area, they need volunteers. They need you. We have a heart to help our neighbors because they are fellow human beings. Consider how you can make a difference. And if you're across the globe and you want to assist those who have experienced natural disasters in other lands, remember to tap into the United Nations Foundation. They always need donations and they can give you real-time information on disasters that's happening in other countries. Just because you are where you are doesn't mean you can't make an impact in another place. In fact, you might be the one to make that difference. We then walked into some career readiness tips, reminding you of the power you have to put the amazing you on paper on that resume, and while building your resume in those search engines. How important it is to have quantitative information and really put tangible explanations to what you do. Remember, many of us don't have the opportunity when hiring to read through the weeds of a 6-page resume. We'll glance and hopefully put you on the cream so that we can call you in and then you can give us the details. Consider which search engines you want to take time and invest in because they send constant updates on jobs and you want to constantly be changing your resume with new skills, new information, and honey, keep being that forever student because there's free certifications, there's YouTube University that can give you skills, that's what I call it. There's Google that's out there that's fact-fairing and sharing all the information you might need specifically for that job. And then remember to tap into a network that's focused on that profession. Family, stop existing. We're not existing here on the Power Up. We're trying to live and live out loud. So as we go into this motivation moment, there are a few tips that we want to share and remind you. We want to make sure that you remember how important your goals are. We get caught up often with helping other people and focusing on others. So I'm a middle child. I've served everybody all my life. It took me up to a few years ago and a health condition to decide I was going to start putting me first because I was used to serving people. I'm a people person, love it day or night. But what I found was I can't give to folks what I don't have. So it meant that I had to step back and prioritize self-care, that whole self-love. And it's a real thing. Let me help someone. I used to think self-care meant being selfish. Now, while on some places it does require you to say no, I have learned the power of that 2-letter word and how it's okay to let the chips fall where they may, to release expectation or even other people's opinions. Because if I'm being the best me in that moment, I want to enjoy being me. Because when I'm out of here, all I have left is what I did while I was here. I've transitioned now. And my impact in this earth has to happen right now while I have time. So your goals matter. What we want to remind you in this motivation moment is to take time and write down your dreams. Come on, dream builders, dream releasers. Come on. There's a dreams in you that you wish if I had money, I would. Or if I had time and didn't have to run the kids here and there, I would. What I want to commission you to do today is take time and write it down so that you see it. Write the vision. Make it plain. When you see what you want to accomplish, it becomes a goal. It becomes something I can actually make happen. Let me give you an example. If I said I wanted to go to the moon, somebody might tell me, Tammy, you crazy. You can't go to the moon. You ain't going to the moon. Oh, yeah, there's haters and naysayers out there. What I want to encourage you, though, is to think folks have gone to the moon. So why can't you? See, the only limits we live in are the ones we create for ourselves. Others can be a distraction, but let's limit them to only trying to be. Once you write your dreams, I've always wanted to be a nurse. I share that there's a 75-year-old lady who just graduated from nursing school. She lost a few of her friends during the pandemic and said, it's not over till it's over. She signed up for those classes and immediately went to school, got her grandchild to give her a computer, learned how to do online courses. We're talking about 75 years old, recently graduated from nursing school. Her goal, when folks asked, is that she wants to go to a nursing home and she wants to be with others her age. But she went through the process to be wiser so that she could help be part of the solution versus just being in need. Because even nurses need nurses at some point. Family, the point is that you have the right to dream and do everything else you see everybody else doing. Here's the thing you need to write at the top of your paper. Why not me? Every time you start to have that doubt, every time you start to have that fear, look at those words. Why not me? There are people who travel the globe. Why not me? See, because financial limits are temporary. But if it's in your heart's desire, you can start with that globe travel. You can start with finding a trip that you can put payment arrangement to. And before you know it, a year has gone by and you're boarding that cruise ship. Or a year has gone by, you paid in full. So all the money you have is what you're taking to spend and enjoy. Come on, family. We're not living in limits anymore. Write your goals. Excuse me. Let them work for you. We're going to talk more about goal setting and even progress right after this. Stay tuned.
Hey, it's your girl, A Love. Make sure you follow me and Pastor PG, LaShonda Robinson, on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Girl Let's Talk. And let me tell you, it's not your typical church conversation. Make sure you join us on the WIN Network.
Hey, how you guys doing? This is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner at Empower Mornings. Join me every Monday at noon to work out with Regina on WIN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. We're going to move into our wrap up in these last few moments. And what we want to do is take an opportunity to remind you how great you are. We're experiencing an all-time high in suicide rates. And it's because many folks feel hopeless, maybe lost, maybe even feel like they don't have anyone to talk to. We want to remind you that there are resources and there are individuals available for you. Consider talking to someone at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Trained individuals that just want to hear your story. There's nothing so bad that the end needs to be greater than your future. We remind ourselves of our ancestors who made it through great trial, great turmoil, many of them trailblazers because they stood strong in the face of fear to make a difference. We think about those who we're going to leave behind us, the young individuals, this generation that looks up to us, whether as an auntie or uncle, maybe as that favorite cousin, the funny one. And what they're looking for is what they will mimic as they age. So you're valuable even when you don't feel like it. Family, what we want to do is remind you that there's nothing that's so bad and so horrible that you can't move forward. I'll give you an example. There are individuals who are incarcerated for horrible crimes they may have committed. There are many who take classes and get reformed while they're behind prison walls, so that should they ever be released, they're better in the community as a citizen. Here on the Power Up, we're not co-signing on someone who is not an upright citizen. We're not saying it's okay to commit a crime. It's okay to do horrible things. That is not at all where we stand. Instead, we actually support ethical behavior. That's knowing that your intuition is more important because it helps you know how to maneuver in those times when you have to decide versus right versus wrong. When you have to figure out the decision I need to make when it's easy or when it's hard. We want you to consider how loved you are, even when it doesn't feel like it. You ever had that grandma that you might not see her every day, but when you see her, she says, "Hey, baby, come here and give me a hug." That's love. Maybe you need to pick up the phone or go visit grandma. You ever had those folks at church that just smile when you walk in the door for no reason? Maybe church is where you want to make your community. Any place that can feed into you the positivity and motivation you need to consider every day what I need to do to stand and fight. Family, no one's saying life is easy. I'll be the first one to say, I have been through some things that knocked the wind out of me, honey. But it's not about getting knocked down. It's about not staying down. We just want to remind you that you have the power to get up, dust yourself off, rise up, stand up, and show up and be the best you were created to be. You know why? Why not me? Write it down, and family, continue to live on purpose.